Welcome to Movies We Love. Today we will look at a science fiction adventure movie entitled Captain Nova. Spoilers ahead. Before we start, hit the like button. Hey, it's free and will help me to grow this channel. The movie begins in the year 2050. An ecological disaster has practically wiped out the majority of the world's living species, including all birds. Here we meet Nova Kester, or Captain Nova, a 37-year-old fighter pilot. Humans are housed in dome-shaped shelters. We see Nova on board a Chrono shuttle. She is heading back in time to the year 2025 on a mission to avert the disaster that led to the environmental collapse. Nova's only companion on the journey is ADD, an intelligent robot who, due to its difficulty in programming, cannot appreciate human jokes. We watch as the Chrono ship launches up into the atmosphere. It travels faster and faster through the clouds. Eventually, the ship reaches out into space and plummets toward a wormhole. As the Chrono ship hurls through the wormhole, it soon reaches the speed of light. The ship enters into the time warp, arriving at the year 2025. We see it re-enter the Earth's atmosphere of the past. Here we see a young boy named Naz riding on an ATV bike through a wooded area. He spots Nova's ship crash landing in the forest. Naz is visibly shaken when ADD flies to him and requests his help. He has never seen a flying, talking robot before. ADD leads Naz to the crash site. Naz carries an unconscious Nova, and they escape on the ATV before the authorities arrive. Naz brings Nova and ADD to an old factory in the woods. Naz lays Nova inside. She is still out cold. Naz wonders how to handle this decidedly strange situation. The police arrive at the crash site and believe they have found a UFO. A female police officer curiously examines the otherworldly craft. Here we meet Detective Luchtmeyer. The detective follows the clues and drives to the old factory to investigate further. She knows she must find the occupants of the craft. Nova begins to realize that she has been reversed aged, a side effect of the time travel. To her shock, she is now her 12-year-old self. The detective searches the old factory. She soon finds Nova's abandoned spacesuit. Suddenly, she hears the sound of her vehicle being driven off. Yep, you guessed it. Naz and Nova have stolen a police detective's car. Next, we see that the military is now in possession of the chronocraft. They were able to match the fingerprints in the craft to a girl named Nova Kester. However, they are confused because Nova is presently only 12 years old. The two kids drive for a while in the car. Nova needs to reach the army base. Unfortunately, the car's engine suddenly begins to smoke and breaks down. Naz checks under the hood. Luckily, a local farmer, Alton, stops by and offers to help. He tows their stolen car back to his farm. There he introduces the teenagers to his wife. Next, we see the police have tracked down the present-day existing Nova and her family. They of course have no idea what is going on. The detective questions Nova looking for answers and examines the house. Nova and family is then taken into police headquarters for further questioning and investigation. We now see that the car is functioning again and the kids are invited to dinner. Suddenly, the police arrive at the farmhouse. Naz and Nova escape, running into the cornfields. The police and military search the surrounding fields and woods. The detective jumps into a military helicopter for reconnaissance. Suddenly, a soldier finds the kids. Nova uses a futuristic gun to put the soldier on pause. She explains to Naz that he will be in that state for a few hours. He will have time to think about his life, career, and his future. The detective and the army find the soldier and marvel at his condition. The detective realizes that things keep getting stranger and stranger. Nova and Naz find their way finally to an oil company exec's mansion. They sneak into an underground tunnel entrance and soon find themselves wandering the giant house. Nova enters into and interrupts the meeting. Simon Volk Jr., the CEO, is discussing the company's plans to drill into the ice cap at the North Pole. Simon Volk Sr. is also in attendance at the meeting. Nova explains that by doing this, a huge cloud of methane gas will be released into the atmosphere, bringing about climate catastrophe to the Earth. This is her mission, to stop the climate-altering disaster. Just then, security arrives and removes the children. They are escorted out of the property. They sneak back around the building and watch hidden as the board members leave the meeting. Nova places ADD onto the back of Simon Volk's car as a tracking device. Nova and Naz track Simon to his house. They enter and confront him. Nova tries desperately to explain to him the situation. ADD then plays a recording of a much older Simon Volk from the future. He explains that for the sake of the future of the Earth, he must not continue with the Arctic drilling project. But the police arrive, and Nova is shot. She falls to the ground. Luchtmeyer runs to attend to her. As Nova lays on the ground, she sees that ADD has also been shot down. In the confusion, Naz escapes and runs out into the surrounding woods. He runs all the way back to the farmer Alten's house. He tells Alten that Nova has been shot. He is visibly upset and cries. At the hospital, the detective tries to comfort Nova and get her to open up about what is going on. Nova explains that she was sent back from the future by Simon Volk Jr. to stop the drilling plan. Back at the police station, we see ADD become functional again. He snatches Nova's pistol and escapes into the sky. Detective Luchtmeyer pursues, but it's too late. ADD escapes. ADD arrives at the farm and tells Naz that Nova is not doing well, and she must get back to the future in order to survive. The little robot tells Naz that he must save her. ADD then runs out of steam and shuts down. Naz sadly places it on the ground. He picks up Nova's gun and switches it on. Next we see Alten drops Naz off at the army base. The soldiers bring Naz inside. As Naz is being interrogated by the officers, he pulls out Nova's gun and pauses both of them. Naz makes his way through the army base, finding injured Nova. He rouses her up and unhooks her medical monitors. Detective Luchtmeyer finds the suspended army officers and hits the alarm. We see Naz scurrying quickly through the hallways carrying the sick Nova on his back. She is now wearing her spacesuit. Naz gets Nova into her chronocraft and helps her strap in. Naz watches Nova's craft ascend into the sky. Just then the detective comes upon him. "What have you done?" she demands. Nova's craft enters warp speed, traveling through the wormhole back to her own time. She lands back in the future and is found by her team members. It appears that the mission did not succeed, for the atmosphere is still stormy and difficult to survive in. Nova is healed in a medbed. She emerges as her older self. Everyone acknowledges that the mission was a failure, but suddenly a little boy comes running, saying, "Mommy, I missed you." Then a man emerges saying, "Honey." She looks at him, saying, "Naz?" in a questioning voice. Now that she has a child, Nova decides she must go back and try again. We see her once again launch in her chrono ship. She arrives back exactly 1 minute later. Naz joins her, and the detective, realizing the truth of the situation, allows them to go. They strap into the ship and head off to the North Pole. They fly until dawn. Here we see Nova and Naz at the drilling refinery at the North Pole. Simon Volk and his father are also there. They make speeches and they prepare to begin the drilling. Nova and Naz are forced to pause several guards. However, it seems Simon has a bad feeling and tells his father. He is unsure if they should go through with the drilling. His father mocks him and dismisses him. Just then, Nova and Naz begin their assault. Then they confront Simon and his father. The father dismisses them as mere children who know nothing and goes to hit the button. In 1 second, Nova paralyzes him. She then disables the drilling equipment. Volk falls to his knees and sobs. They fly to Alton's farm to say goodbye. Nova must now return to her own time. Alton has repaired ADD. They are glad to see their old friend in good working order again. Naz watches as Nova's ship flies back to her own time. He doesn't know that they will see each other again in the future and even have a family together. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button.